Good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to see everybody out this afternoon. Our meeting with now. I need a motion to reconvene in open session and adopt certification of closed session.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move that we reconvene into open session and adopt certification for closed session.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we reconvene in open session and adopt certification of closed session. All of those in favor use the sign aye.
Aye.
Hearing no nays. I will ask you now to,
Certification of closed session.
certification. I was going fast. I missed that.
Whereas the Dinwiddie County School Board has convened a closed session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the Virginia provisions of Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas paragraph 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dinwiddie County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only such business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board. Jerry Snip, District 1.
I certify.
Betty Haney, District 2.
I certify.
Barbara Pittman, District 3.
I certify.
Mary Benjamin, District 4.
I certify.
Sherlyn Merritt, District 5.
I certify.
Madam Chair, non-voting, Jamaica Weaver, Student Representative, absent, and Claire Carver, Student Representative, alternate. Madam Chair, all certify.
Thank you. Now, I invite you to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Culver.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any amendments to the agenda?
None.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the agenda as presented. All of those in favor use the usual sign.
Aye.
Hearing no nays, the agenda is adopted. I need a motion to approve the personnel list.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the personnel list as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the personnel list as presented. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no nays, the personnel list is approved. Next, we have recognitions.
Yes, I'd like to ask Ms. Clark to come forward, and then we can begin our celebrations with this team you see in front of you this evening. It's done quite a few.
I brought my pom-pom.
Oh, yeah. You have yours too.
Somebody else has some too.
We
keep them here. So today we celebrate you
Yes.
on a great season. And, you know, it's very near and dear because I was telling Dr. Weston, I guess I'm a Cheer Mom alumni, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah. So I was looking at the uniforms in the closet the other day. So, but you are here because you've had a normal season, a great season. You are the winners of Region 4B. Thank you. So that's the 4B trophy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We hadn't had one of those in a while. Okay.
Since 2017.
Yes. So the other thing is, for those that don't follow a lot of VHSL stuff, and Brad will chime in, that Region 4B is one of the biggest ones in the entire state. So 4B is packed with competition, top to bottom. So you had a lot of competition where some of the other divisions may only be competing at around 8 people. How many was in the competition this time?
We have 17 in all
17.
total.
Wow.
So that's pretty high.
Wow.
So amazing job to that. So you have a lot packed into 3 minutes? Yeah. Okay, so because you won 4B, you got a trip to the state competition last Saturday at the Siegel Center.
Amazing.
So that was even better, tougher competition. You made it to round 2, which makes you a state finalist, where you finished in 4th. Absolutely nothing to hold your head about. You had an amazing season, and Miss Danielle Hood is the coach, assisted by Alexa McBride. And if you would come up, I'm so glad you wore your uniforms today. If you would come up and if you would introduce and let everyone know who's here. And thank you, parents. Parents, I know you've traveled a lot of Saturdays and late nights, and
Yes.
you
Do I need
know,
to stand in front of this?
you can do whatever you want. We can hear you.
Perfect. I'm loud enough. So I'll just go down the roll, but we have Langston Parton.
Come here. Take a picture when we're done.
And then we have Zoe Mosley, who's a senior. We have Bailey Walters. We have Gabrielle Bostick. I will always say your last name wrong. So we have Sydney. Then we have Alexis Everett. And lucky I'm enough to have another Everett, Bryce Everett. Yep, Natalie Everett, senior. Then I have Kelly Ashley. Ashley Kelly, sorry. And then Hannah Frakes. And Justin Gregory, senior. Brianna Richardson, senior. And Alexis McBride, coach.
But, you know, a lot of glitter. I know, glitter, sequins. Parents, you know, all I could think, so I was sitting there, you know, I've been thinking about it all week. Like, all I could think was, oh, we could get them to do a cheer, but then it'll just stay in your mind for like a week. Because parents know the whole season what they're doing in the kitchen and what they're doing in the evening. They're practicing those routines, and you know the whole routine in the cheer just like they do. So, thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So there's still much cheering. Got 2 football games left.
Yes.
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 How many do we need? How many football games do we need?
4 then state champion.
Okay, so 5 more games. 5 more games. Okay. We got it. So thank you.
That's awesome.
Ms. Benjamin, before they sneak out, I just want to make certain that, you know, these young folks are wonderful athletes, but they're also really neat human beings too. And I just think that's really special. I think that, you know, some people think it's about just the acrobats and all that, but these are just really amazing young people. I was always, I want to be a cheerleader. So I appreciate that you all always allow me the opportunity to just be kind of like, tag along with you. So thank you so very much, but you do a wonderful job representing our school system. I'm just so very proud of all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
You want to pause so that if
Yes.
they need to
Yeah, we can
leave?
do that. Yeah, we can do that.
We
They
want,
probably have homework and
yeah,
cheering to do.
we're gonna take a 3-minute break, so you
They
may
can sneak
leave
out.
to do your homework or what,
Cheer.
take some pictures.
See you Friday night.
And may I say, good evening to my classmates.
Oh,
I see 2 of my classmates. Hi, classmates. From 1964.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they were at their competition Saturday. I went.
I watched the whole thing online. It was like till 6 o'clock.
No, I left about 4:30 after they did the second
I was
time.
like, it's gonna go on forever. I said, "Don't worry."
Yeah,
But they look so good.
yeah, they did.
I'm gonna move on with, can we move on now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
I want to congratulate those cheerleaders. They look nice and they did an excellent job, so make Dinwiddie proud. So we're doing a lot of work here. Our consent agenda, I need a motion to approve the expenditure report.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the expenditure reports as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the expenditure reports as presented. All of those in favor use the usual sign, aye.
Aye.
Hearing no nays, the report is accepted. The next, we need a motion for the approval of the minutes from October 12th and October 26th, 2021.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes for October 12th and the 26th as presented.
I second it.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept or approve the minutes for October 12th and October 26th, 2021. All of those in favor use the usual sign.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, the minutes are approved. Board matters.
Yes, I'd like to ask Ms. Fleming to come forward and to seek approval this evening for a bulk fuel purchase.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Austin couldn't be here this afternoon, so I'm gonna present the bulk fuel purchase award for you. We are entering into a joint contract with the county. We have done this for the last few years for all fuel purchases. Gives us a bigger bang for our buck. And we released, or the county actually released a joint RFP for bulk fuel back in September. They received 5 responses for vendors. We currently have James River Solutions. However, we have had some significant issues with James River in the past year and therefore needed to put this out for bid to find a new vendor to service our schools. We would like to approve a contract with Parker Oil. In conjunction with the county and the Board of Supervisors, they will be approving a contract at their next meeting as well. So we're asking today, and I think you have a copy of the contract in your packets as well, for approval of this. And I believe that, yes, I believe you have a contract. Copy, it's in there,
Copy of the
yes.
contract in there.
So if anybody has any questions, Mr. Davis is also here to try and answer any of those that you may have regarding fuel oil purchases.
Are there things in the contract that would, if fuel went up so high, that would negate our bid? Or is it a lock-in?
Actually, the rack price is the price we pay for fuel, and what the bid is for delivery with differential cost. It's
Yes.
mainly delivery fee.
Okay.
You have a set price and then it can only vary.
So much.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So if it skyrockets, we still pay the skyrocket price. If it goes, if it lowers, we get that benefit as well.
Okay.
Are there any other
Madam Chair, I
questions?
move that we accept the bid for the bulk fuel oil purchase.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the bulk fuel purchase. All of those in favor use the usual sign.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, it's approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. Benjamin, I'm going to have Ms. Branch come forward. Remember, she came to you at the beginning of the school year to talk about our emergency leave procedures, our regulations, if you will, and she's going to bring those, an update to those to you this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Weston, and good afternoon, evening, I guess, everyone. So I stood before you here, I guess, shortly after the school year started to ask for your approval for some emergency leave regulations for our employees. Well, as we know, COVID is still here, and our employees are still being impacted by the virus. So the previous regulations we presented ended with the end of the first 9 weeks, which was November 1st. So today I come to you with some modifications to the regulations and asking that these be enacted beginning Monday, November 2nd through Thursday, January 27th, 2022. Previously, when the regulations were approved, in the summary, item number 1, we had already included employees that were identified as an exposure as a result of a confirmed case within the school system. However, we would like to add the addition of adding employees that have been identified as a parent or a legal guardian of a student who has been identified as an exposure here in the schools. Over the time as the school year started, we began to see that we did have some cases in which maybe one employee who was a teacher had been impacted twice already before the first 9 weeks was out because one of her children had been identified as an exposure. And we certainly want to do what we can to be able to support our teachers and our staff in being able to continue their employment here without having to exhaust the leave that they have approved or have already accrued. Excuse me. So that would be the addition to the regulations that we have in place. And I would need your approval since this would allow us to pay employees under these conditions. So do you have any questions or concerns?
How long is this one gonna last?
This would just coincide with the 9 weeks, so it would end on January 27th.
And if COVID's still around, we'll just
We'll just come
extend it.
back and ask you to, yes, extend it again.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move that we approve the emergency leave regulation for the next 9 weeks.
I second.
It has been moved and second that we approve the emergency leave regulations. All those in favor, use the usual sign. Aye. Hearing no nays, it is approved for the next 9 weeks.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, any new business? Hearing none?
We'd like to start the superintendent matters this evening with Ms. Powell coming forward to give us a health and safety plan update.
Thank you.
She's been very busy.
Everybody's busy.
Yes.
We wear many hats.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm very happy to report we got confirmation today that the Virginia Department of Health is going to offer COVID-19 vaccine clinics for our 5 to 11-year-olds. So, yay, that's greatly needed. We will be offering the first vaccine on November 16th and the second vaccine on December 7th. The clinics are going to be held at the auxiliary gym at the high school from 5 to 7 p.m. on both days. On the November 16th clinic, we got news today that they are going to offer the first, second, and booster vaccines for any students, parents, staff that need that. They can also go that evening and get that. And they're going to offer the flu shot. So this clinic is going to be hopefully very, very busy. Hopefully we will have a floater nurse starting on November 16th, and we continue to add to our nurse substitute pool. Our nurses have also been extremely busy. We have worked with Connexus this year. We didn't do it last year, but we are working with Connexus, and we're getting our students' vision screen. So this year, we always do kindergarten, 3rd, 7th, and 10th graders. This year, we played catch up, and we added the 1st grade, 4th grade, 8th graders, and 11th graders that didn't get screened last year. So lots of great things going on. Any questions?
So we're adding the 5 to 11-year-olds to those who can be vaccinated, but older children can come as well.
That's right. Anyone above 12. There are two different
Shots. Right.
And they're two different registration forms, and all that information is going to go out to parents tomorrow. And staff,
And
staff.
which shot is it gonna be? The Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Just the Pfizer.
And the booster shot, is that just for 11/16, November 16?
She did not include I assumed early on it was going to include the December 7th, but I didn't want to put that out until I had that in writing. I hope that will be offered both times, but it's only the Pfizer, so. Anything else?
All right, question.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to ask Ms. Fleming to come back and to give you an enrollment update for us as we're entering to our budget season.
Schools have been busy over the last month updating, cleaning up our student information, trying to locate students, that we haven't seen yet this year, those who have moved, who've signed up for homeschool. And our enrollment as of today is 4,088 students, which represents 62 students below our budget that we built our budget on of 4,150. This equates to about $159,261 in reduced state revenue. The enrollment loss funding that the state is providing has helped offset this. This is not as dramatic as it could be because the state is doing. As enrollment goes down, the state increases the enrollment loss funding, which is part of the state's effort to combat the revenue loss across the state and the student reductions across the state as well. But we believe that savings due to vacant positions, turnover will cover any loss in state revenue this year. So at this time, we feel comfortable with this. We will continue to monitor and update the board going forward. I'll be glad to try and answer any questions that you may have as far as the current year budget goes.
Thank you, Kristen.
Okay. And then on the upcoming year's budget, budget packets have gone out. People are working on their budgets. They are due the Friday, November the 19th before Thanksgiving. So we'll be providing you some updates at the next meeting regarding the fiscal year 2023 budget. Okay.
Thank you.
And now I've asked Mr. Moss to come forward and provide you with an overview of where we are relative to virtual learning.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay. Basically, what you're looking at on your screens is just kind of an overview of where we are. And the first thing you're seeing there is a new logo. And that Latin at the bottom means lighting the future. And so we are the Dinwiddie Virtual Academy. Although we contract out with Virtual Virginia and with Apex, we are the Virtual Academy. And one of the things I'm working on is actually how we're going to be able to house that ourselves eventually. That's our plan. I'm working on it, Miss Bonnie. I'll turn it on. Look at that. All right. So the high school and middle school, you can see they have the exact same number of students. I was kind of surprised by that. They've been pretty close from the very beginning, but the last couple of weeks it came down to where they each have 31 students apiece. Every school has at least one student. DES just has the one. And then a further breakdown will let you see where they stand as far as the type of platform that they're using. Apex is a much better platform for students who are looking for advanced studies, things like that. But Virtual Virginia is the one that's for the most people, for the most students. And it's the one that we're really focusing on as we move forward into the next semester. Because you can see in the next slide, you'll be able to see that we've had quite a few kids who have been pulled back from Apex. If you look at the numbers at the high school, that's a pretty big number. And out of the kids that were in Apex at the middle school, we've had several, a large number of students pulled back from that as well. Then you can also see the reasons for the move. There have been 10 children that did not perform in a way that suggested that virtual was right for them. And so we pulled them back. Virtual Virginia did that with one student who was not attending, and we were actually in the process of removing him from that ourselves, and they kind of beat us to it. And then we've had 24 parents that have said this was not the right thing for my child, because a lot of them thought it was going to be exactly like it was when, that the closure happened in that March 2 years ago. And it's not like that at all. It's much more self-driven and that sort of thing. As far as what we're doing for the upcoming semester, our levels are frozen as far as the elementary and middle school. We don't have any more openings there. We do have one new student from Dinwiddie High School who's going to be starting, and he's going to be all virtual Virginia. And like I said, we use both of them as virtual learning platforms, but Virtual Virginia will be the preferred platform for virtual learning from here on out. Now, some of the courses at the high school are still going to be Apex-based because of availability and the course levels. For example, if a student wants to take an honors course, they cannot do that through Virtual Virginia. Virtual Virginia doesn't offer any honors enrollments. However, Apex does. And so I think we have maybe 17 enrollments for the second semester. They're going to be in Apex, and that's considerably lower than what we had. A survey was set out to determine the interest in how many students who are currently virtual would like to continue that. We had 27 responses. Then we provided the application. I don't know if you've gotten the robocalls or seen the updates on social media, but we are really trying to heavily blanket everybody to let them know that those applications are out. And I've talked to the counselors, and they have asked to please have them back by December 17th. And I think that that's appropriate because of their scheduling needs and that sort of thing. We'll have a few students that may come in kind of under that deadline, but that's going to be based on how they're going to be performing in their current virtual classes. For example, if someone does not do well first semester, but they do really well second semester, then they would still qualify to be enrolled. And that's really all I've got for you tonight. Next month, we're going to be talking about the regulations that we'd like to use to govern the virtual academy and get you to take a look at those. But I just wanted to provide a brief overview of where we were. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can.
Mr. Moss, those people that are on Apex and Virtual Virginia, if a course that we teach requires an SOL test, will Virtual Virginia and Apex be administering that, or that we will need to administer?
We will be administering that. And Ms. Smith-Tucker has already been in contact with me about that. They're going to do that with the existing testing coordinators, and we're also considering the possibility of alternate testing locations if parents are uncomfortable bringing their students into the school buildings.
And at some point, won't we have to look at the success rate of that and make that also one of the indicators of whether we approve people to stay on this or
I'm
not?
looking at that every day. In fact, those students who've been pulled back are students who did not do well. The mentor's doing that, the counselor's doing that, I'm doing that. And then we got a rubric for next year. And the counselors are actually going to use that rubric to determine if a student is eligible for, and these are things that we, looking back on it, I wish we had them in place from the very beginning, but we were doing the best we could with what we had, and we're learning as we go.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, and next I'm going to invite Ms. Drake to come forward and talk to us or give us an update relative to family and community engagement.
Good evening, school board members and all in attendance. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and give you an update on family and community engagement with Dinwiddie County Public Schools. Again, my name is Alicia Drake, and I am the Title I Family and Community Engagement Specialist for the 2021-2022 school year. Sorry, going back in time. So this position was created through Title I funds. It started this year. We're specifically servicing all of the Title I schools, but we try to have opportunities where the other schools can also be involved in the activities that we participate in or that we host. We work with schools, but we also focus on building cohesive and sustaining partnerships with our parents, communities, and focusing on literary outreach. Prior to the school year, we developed a 3-year plan which listed our goals for up to 3 years. Our first goal was being a goal of awareness. We wanted to encourage the community and families and schools to become aware that this department was formed, and that we would be working to assist in anything that we can assist with, as well as provide different opportunities for families and schools. We also developed our mission, which is grounded in creating a fostering an environment that engages, supports, and empowers all families, schools, and communities through authentic relationships, culturally rich experiences, and collaborative partnerships. And if you visit any of the Title I schools, you'll see a banner that supports this mission. I would now like to give an update on what we have been able to accomplish this year to reach our goals and support our mission. But before I begin, I would also like to say thank you for encouraging this to happen from the Title I interventionists, you all, schools, central office, and various other entities within the school. None of this would be possible without the help of everyone else. I don't know where the pictures are. Okay, well, they may show up. In August, before the school year started, we met with Title I administrations and teachers to discuss ideas, goals, the culture, and the vision of each of the respective schools, because as you know, every school has a different culture and a different vision. We also presented our mission, goals, and ideas to new teachers, the parents, and the community members to begin forming our committees. These committees assisted with reviewing our school-wide plans and various other plans, and we began collecting data to drive the focus of our workshops that will be centered for the rest of the school year. We also created our social media pages. In September, we began home visits to our families. We sent out welcome cards and thank you cards to welcome our families to the school year. These packets consisted of a variety of resources for parents to assist their students, as well as various paraphernalia from their respective schools. We also engaged in various partnerships and hosted the Fall Fit Club with emphasis on literacy and health, as well as Master Chef Junior, which had an emphasis on literacy and cooking. Several community partnerships were also formed, and I'd like to shout out Dinwiddie Sheriff's Department, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Virginia State Family Nutrition, Virginia State Troopers, Sports Packers and RBA Fitness Warriors, and DCPS School Social Workers. In October, we furthered our partnerships and utilized more of our DCPS family with regards to various activities, such as story time with our SROs, which emphasize community helpers and literacy. This activity was done in conjunction with National Coffee with the Cop Day. We also hosted our first webinar for families with regards to bullying prevention and provided a variety of resources for our families. We met with our advisory committees on the district and the school level. We were also able to attend the National Family Engagement Summit and network with individuals in this position across the state and across the United States itself, and actually network with a variety of people. I would like to shout out the DCPS school counselors, Clark Hill Institute for Positive Youth Development, who actually assisted with making sure that our webinar could be as successful as it was. In November, we recognized our families for their support in their students' education. For National Family Engagement Month, we did a social media post. In honor of World Kindness Day, we also hosted our first film screening and discussion for female students in grades 3 and up, and a mother or female role model or guardian. This was also done in partnership with our school counselors, and many of the schools opted to engage in the in-school portion with the filmmakers. Before break, we will be having our reading jam where parents will learn tips and strategies to support reading and share in the story. We will also have the Virginia 529 webinar to discuss preparing financially for students' future. Our community partnerships shout outs for November will be IndyFlix and the KING campaign and the DCPS school counselors. Upcoming events to finish out the year, we will continue to support schools, markets, and holiday drive-through. We will also host a seatbelt safety webinar and child restraint webinar for our families. Our community partnerships that we would like to shout out are the Youth Creativity Project, the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles, and Safe Kids Virginia. As the saying goes, a picture is also worth 1,000 words, so I would like to share a quick video to highlight some of the activities that I mentioned from September to this now. Lastly, our future goals, we would love to establish a family and community engagement center and mobile outreach to provide a central location for families and provide them with additional supports. We would like to develop a family and community engagement team or department. Our hope is that we can model larger schools and have one family and community engagement specialist at each school to expand partnerships and opportunities to our students and families. We would also like to expand the little libraries in our community, continue building partnerships to serve our families, and to pilot the parent-teacher home visits and fatherhood initiatives. Right now, we are also implementing various virtual activities, but we are excited and hopeful that soon we'll be able to embrace more in-person activities. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Thank you, Ms. Drake.
Thank you.
Ms. Haney, you have a report for Code RVA.
Yes, ma'am. Code RVA had the school board meeting on October 21st, 2021 at 11 o'clock. And Code RVA is kind of a special school. It's for computer science. And it has been funded through an MSAP grant for 5 years, and it is not eligible for state funds for education for other schools like governor schools and everything. So they are at the mercy of just, the money that they get from tuition and this grant and any donations that they get from other companies. And they did have several donations that came in that they told us about for this past, couple of months. They had from Dynamics, they had $3,400. From the Herndon Foundation, they got $25,000 from, and then another one for $9,000 from another foundation. They did tell us that this year they did ask the principal, Dr. Goranson asked if they could pursue becoming a 501c candidate, and so we gave her permission to go ahead and try to get that. And it'll take about a year, she said, close to that, in order to be able to become a 501c3 entity, so that they can get donations from other companies and try to get as many as they can. They did tell us that the Code RVA Senior Networking event is going to happen on May 10th at 6:30 p.m. And this is when the seniors are going to be giving projects as to what they are going to be doing and what they are hoping to accomplish. And they did say that because of the fact that it costs so much and they need the money, they might be thinking about increasing tuition, which would be kind of difficult. Not as much for us as it would for places like Chesterfield County. Going up from $10,000 to $13,000 a student is, when you have 100 students going to this school, is a bit more money than they, But we're hoping that if they decide to do a tuition increase, they'll let us know before we do our budget. So that was what we asked them to do. And they are trying to cut costs, and they're changing all their teachers from moving some teachers from 12 months to 11 months. And then they're going to, they've got other things they're trying to try to do. They hate to have to cut positions, but they might have to cut 7 to 9 positions in order to be able to survive for the next year. But hopefully things will improve and they will be able to keep this going, because it is a very good school and it gives these kids a chance to major in computer science and get the experience they need, because they do work with John Tyler and all the other schools. And it is very, very good program.
Mm-hmm. That it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mrs. Haney. No citizens. There are no citizens' comments. Board member comments. Ms. Merritt?
I had the pleasure of attending a program at the high school a few weeks ago. And while I was sitting waiting for that event to take place, I had the pleasure of watching I guess it was the drama students, the theater students rehearse. And I'm like, they are really into what they're doing. And Mr. Gons, I just want you to know that you should be proud of those students, because, whatever the instructor was saying to them, they were tuned into, and they were paying close attention. And just want to applaud them. I didn't have the opportunity to say anything to them, but I want you to know you should be proud. And I also had the opportunity to attend the Rwanti open house. And I was very impressed. That was my first time attending the center. We were welcomed with open arms. And I think it was Mr.
Maxie. Dr.
Maxie. He was instructed to take me on the tour. And the instructors, they're very serious about what they have a love for their teaching. And really interested in the students. So I was very happy to been able to attend.
I'd like to piggyback on the theater thing. I saw a little bit of their practice this same day that Ms. Merritt did, but I also mentioned that this weekend they competed in their regional event and placed first. And so I'm assuming they will also go on to a state event, which is really, really wonderful. And this weekend, the theater did well, and the cheerleaders placed in the top 4, and of course the football is first in the region. So it was a wonderful weekend for the Generals. So congratulations, Mr. Garnes. And the other thing I'd like to say is, the other thing I'd like to say is Ms. Drake's project is I'm especially proud of the fact that she's including kindness as a focus and anti-bullying, because that is so important to those young children to start it early and get used to having that as part of your routine education. So thank you for that focus.
Ms. Haney?
Well, again, I would just like to, commend the cheerleaders, the theater group, the football team, the scholastic team. They're doing extremely well. The FFA, it just goes on and on and on. And these Dinwiddie kids can do anything they put their minds to. And they have great sponsors that are working with them. And I applaud them all. Thank y'all.
Mr. Smith?
I'm kind of ditto to everybody else, congratulations to all the students that worked hard to achieve these accolades, making Dinwiddie proud. Thank you, Ms. Drake, for your energy and excitement in this program. I personally had interaction with her and couldn't have asked for a better person to pick for that position. She's definitely going to take it forward and proud to see what happens in the future. Definitely.
And I wanted to say again, it was good to see Dr. Ampey come again.
She's alive.
And also, I'd like to wish the family and student staff a happy Thanksgiving, happy and safe Thanksgiving, so we won't see them before then. And enjoy y'all's break, definitely. Well deserved.
I just am so proud of Dinwiddie and all of our staff, students, and what I've seen and heard this week. It really makes me proud. And if they say what they say, who said it couldn't be done? And they did it. Ms. Covers?
First, I want to update y'all on the voice box that we have going up at the high school. We have met with maintenance, and it isn't up yet, but it should be done by next week. So that way, when students have any comments and they aren't particularly comfortable going to an administrator, they can leave it in there, an anonymous tip, or any ways that they would like to see changes at the high school. So me and Jamaica are really excited about that, just to make sure that they know that they have like a voice. And it's also anonymous, so maybe people would feel more comfortable opening up that way about it. We also had our first school meeting about dress code, and we had a lot of people show up and express their opinion, and us and Dr. Weston are very excited about where this is going. And Mr. Garnes, there was a lot of interaction, a lot of opinions, but we're going to make sure that everything is great and we have a plan, and eventually we will be presenting that for you guys to see, which we are so excited about. And there's so many kids who are passionate about it, so we're all just really excited about that. Again, we wanted to congratulate the cheer team. They've worked so hard. They were so proud of themselves for being the first team to ever make it to the state semifinals, ever to do that. They were so happy. I was there when it happened, and they just all started crying. It was awesome. And then the theater team, again, they said that was the first time that it's happened in like 10 years, which that's really cool. That's really exciting. And then I also was stopped by several people that wanted to say congrats to Officer Jay for retiring. You've impacted so many kids' lives through being at the middle school and then being at Southside. I know you impacted my life at middle school when you passed your office and you see your little hedgehog. So congrats on retirement, and we just wanted you to know how many lives and kids' lives you've touched, and that you are an amazing school resource officer, and that you're going to be missed.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I would like to start, since you ended that way, I don't, first of all, nobody that ever leaves education retires. So just know that, he's on to other things and he'll continue to serve us in this capacity. But I did want to recognize you, Mr. Schneff, that 12 years, I mean, that's a long time, and you really have left an imprint on the students and staff here at Dinwiddie. And I know you'll continue to do that and as you continue to serve in various capacities. But I've heard nothing but just amazing stories about all you've done in the years you've been here. You've kind of paved the way for all the other school resource officers, and now look at all of our schools. Pretty soon, everybody will have one. So that's pretty amazing legacy to leave here. So thank you for your service. I'm so excited I love Student Voice. So Claire and Jamaica are leading our SAGE group, which is the Student Advisory Group on Excellence in Education. So we call them SAGE, because they bring us a lot of wisdom, right? And so they did a great job last week, and Mr. Garnes and I were really just there, just to be there. They really led everything, and they do have a firm plan moving forward. And I think the group did a really great job, and I have a feeling it's going to be even more well attended now that the word is going to start to get out. We also have another opportunity coming up in November. If you'd like to hear more about Student Voice, on November the 30th, is that the date?
30th.
As an extension of our Race and Reconciliation Task Force that we belong to with the county, our students will be participating in a panel to talk about what it's like to be a high school student, and more specifically about how race has impacted their life and what just to give us some suggestions about how to make schools better for them. And we're just going to learn from them and listen to them. And so we're looking forward to that, and we invite everybody to come out. That'll be right after school on November 30th, and we'll be sending more information out about that very soon. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other concerns from anybody? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
It's been moved and second that we adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, use the usual sign. Aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.